Hello and welcome to Overlap Rugby. This is the second episode of Going Solo with just myself, Daragh Faulkner. I just wanted to make this video because it looks like we're not going to get a chance to shoot a preview for the Munster Saracens match, given that it's midday on Saturday and we just didn't get a chance to do it in the week. But we sort of touched on and did a reasonable job previewing Leinster-Clermont, I think, in this week's podcast. But we never got around to Munster Saracens, which is obviously a hugely interesting game. So hoping to get this shot and uploaded in time for kickoff, which is kind of touch and go. But that's basically what this is going to be. Just going to shoot for 25 minutes or so, talking about this match, probably maybe less. We are going to touch on the Lions in next week's podcast. We're going to talk about the squad selection and how predictably uninspired some of the selections were, and we'll get into that. But this is just going to be Munster Saracens. So a huge game, two great and very similar teams. Both teams revel in destroying other teams' confidence in tearing other teams down and stopping other teams from doing what they want to do, and demotivating and sucking the life out of their opposition. And it's going to be really interesting to see if one team actually manages to do that to the other, or if this becomes just a grind, and 80 minutes of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Again, like, from an attacking perspective, it's kind of interesting because both sides are really going to be gung-ho defensively. They're going to be out of the line. Attacking teams, I really don't see, especially in the early parts of the game, I don't see a lot of opportunity to go wide. It would be interesting to see one side do it. Saris, if they try and get their screen going in the outside channels, they're not going to get the same kind of purchase they got against Glasgow. They're going to get chopped by the ankles. They're going to get attacked in the breakdown. They're going to get isolated. I think if you're Saracens early doors with ball in hand, you're looking to attack around those fringes. You're looking to use your Billy Vunipolas, your Maro Itogis, these really dynamic ball carriers who can light up an attack and who can create space by breaking tackles and getting offloads away in those tight fringes. And from there will be chances for Saris to go wide, obviously, and use their attacking play. I really don't see them going wide early doors, and Munster is very much a similar thing. Munster are going to probably be kicking the ball quite a bit. The kicking game is huge for this match. I'm going to sneeze. No, the kicking game is huge in this game. For Munster, it's going to be about box kicks. It's going to be about Duncan Williams has a huge job on his hands without Conor Murray there, and I believe there isn't a replacement scrum half for Munster, so Duncan Williams is going to be on the pitch for the full 80 minutes, and that's a huge call from Rassie Erasmus. The box kicking game is going to be how Munster exit early doors. It's also arguably one of the weaknesses of Saracens. Obviously, Alex Good is a superstar in the air, but Chris Ashton and Sean Maitland are, they're power wingers, they're international standard wingers, but the high ball isn't necessarily their main point, and that's certainly going to be a good way for Munster to generate momentum early doors, getting those box kicks going. If Williams can get them on a sixpence, it can give Munster the necessary momentum and drive to get someone like CJ Stander on the front foot, and then hopefully Tyler Blindall can be on point and Rory Scannell can be on point, and they can start picking those corners out and pinning Saracens back. That's for me, that seems like the sensible way for Munster to approach the game from an exit point of view. Box kicks, attack the Saris wingers under the high balls, hopefully generate turnovers, get a bit of momentum, pin the corners, kick it over Ashton's head, kick it over Maitland's head. And if they can do that, if they can dominate territory early doors, it gives them a huge chance to generate penalties and maybe generate try opportunities, because from the line out they're going to have a really good chance. From those line outs in the corner, they're going to have a good chance of Peter O'Mahony and Donncha Ryan doing something similar to what Ireland did to England, attacking and spoiling what the Saracens' ball. I don't see Munster getting a lot of purchase out of the scrum, but certainly the line out and possibly the breakdown. If O'Mahony has one of his big European games with all the emotion involved. Obviously, there's going to be a few Munster players hurting for not making the squad this week. The Lions squad, Donagh Ryan springs to mind. Keith Earls, Andrew Conway, Simon Zebo, all of whom played for Ireland this year. Perhaps not the best opportunities to make the Lions squad, and maybe not a lot of them would have expected it. Donagh Ryan certainly might have. But the chance of for Munster has to come from early doors, putting huge pressure on Saracens. It's going to be the kicking game, it's going to be the breakdown, and it's going to be the line out. Those are the three key areas for Munster. If they can dominate those areas early, that's their pathway to victory against Saracens. That's the way that they're going to attack. That's the way that they're going to knock Saracens off their rhythm, hopefully build up some kind of a lead. And then from there, you expect them to kick on with the crowd at their backs, with the passion in the game, and perhaps win the game. From a Saracens perspective, it's, looking at this team with however many 6 Lions in it, that whole pack, every single player on that pack, from Mako Vunipola to Billy Vunipola, Jackson Ray, the 2 second rows, the English second rows, Itoje and Cruz, they can all move the ball, they can all play ball, they're all very good with ball in hand, they can all carry, they can all tackle. So, from a man-for-man level, it seems to me like, especially in the pack, Saracens are a better team, they have better players. They're not going to go wide early doors, but they are going to attack those fringes if they get ball in hand in the middle of the field. The other thing that they can do is assert their dominance in the scrum. That to me looks like a really, really good front row with Mako Vunipola, Jamie George and Vincent Cook. With the engine room that they have and the back row that they have, Billy Vunipola adding a lot of weight from number 8. The scrum for me should be for Sarries. If it doesn't go for Sarries, something weird's going on. Munster are playing fiddlywinks or something, because they're better scrummagers, the 2 props, and that's a heavier, much more destructive pack that Sarries have. Although Munster, to be fair, have a great back row and a very functioning second row as well. But Sarries are going to be attacking the fringes early doors and hopefully attacking the scrums. If they can achieve parity at the line out and parity at the breakdown, assert themselves a little bit in the scrums, I think that's going to be enough to weather that early Munster storm. And then from there, the class is going to show. They're going to keep attacking around the fringes. They're going to get opportunities to offload, and when they get over the gain line, they're going to get chances to move the ball. And when they move the ball, they're very smart. They know what they're doing. They're very efficient. Look for those chip kicks and look for those grubbers from Owen Farrell and Marcelo Bosch. Look for those guys to find the space in behind to keep that Munster blitz disciplined. And then when they do that, they are going to find space, because Munster are going to be lining up man for man and shooting. That's how they do it in these big occasions. That's how they're going to hope to throw Saracens off their attacking game. But it does leave space, vulnerable space in behind. And if you have someone like Keith Earls or Duncan Williams playing sweeper for you, you know, there is a lot of danger in behind there, and Sarries are going to definitely look to exploit that. So the kicking game for me is way more important and is going to be way more prevalent than the running game. It's going to be about, for Munster, kicks into the corner and box kicks from the exits, and for Saracens it's going to be about chips over the top, grubbers in behind, trying to exploit that Munster blitz. And then when they exploit that Munster blitz and when they keep them in check and force them back a bit and force them to reconsider, then they're going to start to go wide and start using their running game. But by that stage, they'll only be doing that because their plan had worked and the kicking game established and allowed them to do that. So in the early parts of this game, what's going to decide who's going to win? I think a lot of it has to do with the breakdown. The set piece, do Munster gain line-out supremacy? Do Saracens gain scrum supremacy? And what's going to go on with the kicking games? Those are the areas to look at. And I guess I just sort of motored off and did a 10-minute little preview because I barely took a breath during the whole thing. But that's more or less what I have to say. Those are the key areas. It's going to be about the scrum for Saracens. The breakdown is huge for both. Both sides can attack the breakdown. Both sides are going to have a huge job in their hands to contain each other. But both sides are definitely going to be looking for breakdown supremacy. Sarries, I definitely think, would prefer a slow start to the game. They definitely prefer parity, 0-0 after 20 minutes, a lot of kicking, a lot of up and unders, a lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, knock-ons and penalties. If it goes into the half-time break 6-6, I look at the Sarries bench and I see a lot of really good players they have to bring on. I see Schalk Brits, who can change a game, obviously. Schalk Berger, same can be said for him. Chris Wiles, that's a guy who can come on and change a game. Although Francis Saili for Munster, definitely a huge impact sub as well. But I think if the game goes longer and longer at level scores, I actually think it's, even though Munster have that cup mentality where they can find the winnings of a game, especially with the crowd at their backs, I do get the sense that Sarri's class is going to win out, and they are going to find that play, find those winning plays, find those scoring plays. They're more likely to do that than Munster. If you're talking about a 6-6 draw, if you're talking about something close at half-time, Sarries will be very comfortable because Munster's defence will tire, Munster's adrenaline will wear out, their passion will die down, and Sarries will get their offloading game going, they'll get their screenplays going, and they'll start to get a bit more purchase through the Munster defence. But certainly for the first half, both defences will likely dominate. Munster really do need early tries, and they really do need their line-out platform to function very efficiently. If they can do that, if they can shut Sarries down at the line-out and then get their own line-out maul going, early doors, if they can pick an early try off, if they can start dominating the breakdown, start getting penalties, get the crowd really loud and really in Sarri's face, they absolutely can do that. And we've seen that happen to English teams in the Aviva Stadium. They've broken down, the crowd has got to them, the sheer aggression has got to them at the breakdown. They haven't been able to settle. It's happened to Owen Farrell. That's Munster's pathway to victory, but it takes an early surge, a lot of passion, and for them to ruffle the feathers of the Sarries players. But Sarries, for sure, man for man, I think are definitely a better side. Well, yeah, they're definitely a better side, especially looking at that pack. More dynamic, more threatening, and they're certainly more likely to find tries the longer the game goes on, tit for tat. So Munster need to do something extraordinary, like we know they're very capable of doing. If you ask me for a prediction, I'm going to go for Sarries, but certainly there's a distinct possibility that Munster can win this game and can even run away with this game if they approach it with the same ferocity that they have done in European games past. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a great one. I suppose I've that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to it, and you should be too. It's going to be a great game. So check it out. Check us out. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys. I'll try and breathe less for the next one, but this has been going. Breathe more, I should say. Breathe less. Jeez. I'll try and breathe more for the next one. But this has been the second episode of Going Solo, and it's my rushed breakdown of Munster Saracens, which I think is going to be a very tight but very fun and very enjoyable game. So thanks, guys. We'll see you at the next one. Bye.